Early in the morning.
Central C has had one of the most meteoric rises in music we've ever seen, bursting onto the UK scene in 2020. While it's true he has been making music since 2014, 15, it was only in 2020 did his career truly take off differently. He completely reinvented himself, his look, his sound, changing from that melodic wave music to kind of groovy drill beats at the height of the genre's popularity. The thing is, he's frequently been marketed as an independent artist who has made it purely on his own merit with the right marketing strategies of him, his manager, and the right music. But the reality is, it's not quite as simple as that. While he does have creative control over his music, he has had immense support from the industry as soon as he popped off. And I did always question how organic and natural his come up really was. In this deep dive, I'm going to look into Central C's come up and explore whether he's truly an independent artist or he's just another puppet pushed by the industry. What's going on, the people? It's your boy Cam Topical Juice, and we are back with a deep dive video for you today. As this is going out on Patreon first, I want to say thank you to all my loyal Patreons, people who have been supporting me over the last couple of months. I appreciate you. This will be the first ever Patreon video that's also going to go live on YouTube as well. Usually I only drop exclusives on Patreon, but this video will also be dropping on YouTube at a later date at some point. If you are watching on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it if you smash that like button. A lot of effort has gone into this video. I'd really appreciate it if you just press that like button so we can push this video out to the wider audience. If you do like me, if you like my videos, please do consider pressing that subscribe button, press the bell to be notified, and of course, join your boy's Patreon. Let's get into this. First things first, disclaimer. This is not a hater video. There's going to be a lot of people who read the title and instantly think that I'm nullifying his talents, his effort, his marketing strategies. I'm not trying to undermine Central C. This is just my opinion. Yeah, now while my opinion is based on facts, this is still my opinion. Guys, the reality is, we don't even know what the true definition of an industry plant is. But one of the things that I have realized in my research for this video is that there's not even a universal definition for what an independent artist is, because an independent artist for me is not what an independent artist is today. I'm going to get into this a lot more later, but a real quick example is today you can be classified as an independent artist if you're not signed to a major. So those 3 major record labels, if you're signed to any one of their subsidiaries, you're still classified as an independent artist. For me, bollocks. That's not what makes an independent artist for me. But like anything, it's a spectrum. Some people are firmly planted in the industry and have been pushed by the industry from the very beginning. Some people are completely independent and have creative control over their own music, etc., etc. Central C, for me personally, falls somewhere in the middle. Yeah, there's no way I can classify someone like Central C as a truly independent artist. And in my research, I've realized a lot of other artists that I thought were independent in the UK aren't as independent as I first thought. But at the same time, it remains to be seen if he's truly a proper industry plant pushed by the elites. Only time will tell. If we start seeing Central C at Mark Rubin's white party, if we start seeing him dressing in skirts, painting nails and all that, then we know Central C has fully been compromised. But that remains to be seen. In this video, we're going to be looking at the facts, his come up, and the support that he has had that proves he's not as independent as they like to market him as. But ultimately, guys, this is up to you to make up your own choice, your own decision, your own mind. This is purely subjective. What I think, it could be different to what you think. And as I said, I'm not trying to undermine the talent and the work ethic and his success. I'm happy that someone from the UK has bridged the gap. I'm just here to look into it and give you my opinion. So, to begin, there's a common misconception when it comes to industry plants. People think that just because you've been grinding for years that you can't be a plant. That is incorrect. I'd actually argue most of the people who make it to the top, you know, that level, that upper echelons, if you look into their past, you'll find that a lot of them probably are industry plants, to be honest. People like Drake, who have had support from the very, very beginning. He was already in the industry before making music. He was an actor. Do you know what I'm saying? And we are going to look at what a proper industry plant looks like shortly. But I'd argue most people who make it to the top, they've been planted there most of the time. And just because you've been making music or grinding 5 years before your come up, it doesn't mean that you can't be a plant. It doesn't mean that the industry can't pick you up and propel you to the next level. So firstly, let's look at what an independent artist is, or the common definition of what an independent artist is. For me, an independent artist is someone who does everything independently. Now, I know that sounds stupid. I know that sounds like, well, obviously, but it's clearly not as obvious as I thought it once was, because there's been blurred lines. For me, it's someone who owns all their music. It's someone who has creative control over their music. It's someone who pays for studio time. is someone who books their own shows. It's someone who does their own distribution and publishing, going to events promoters and asking to get booked and, I don't know, burning your CD and handing it out on the street, or growing your own YouTube channel, your own TikTok, your own SoundCloud organically. That's what an independent artist for me. You do that on your own, you pay out your own pocket, and you do everything yourself, everything. That's what an independent artist is for me. And while Central C ticks some of these boxes, he doesn't tick all of them. According to Icon Collective, an independent artist is someone who has 100% creative control. Independent artists have complete control over the direction of their music. They also have full control over distribution, marketing, artwork, messaging, deadlines, and more. Moreover, an independent artist has free will to make decisions about their creative vision. As I said, Central C certainly meets some of that criteria, but as we go forward in the video, you see that he doesn't meet all of them. However, it's 100% true that Central C was definitely generating a buzz before he blew. He definitely did have a small fan base before 2020. With the support of GRM Daily and things like that, he was able to generate some sort of fan base.
Little period, I had a job and I was still doing music. I remember I had a headline shows. I started putting on my own headline shows. I done one in Hoxton Square Bound Kitchens, like 300 people. But I done the venue myself. I rented the venue, I sold it out, and I made like a good few £1,000, which was a lot to me back then. But I still had a job on the side, and I was just hustling. I was doing everything that we could do.
As you saw from that Central C clip, there on Adam 22, he explains that he had a little show going on, and even at that show, Huncho was there, Fredo was there, and all them man there. So there was definitely people in the music scene that were in and around Central C before he blew up. So that's evidence to suggest that he did have a small organic fan base, very small, minute compared to where he is now. But there was a little bit of buzz there beforehand. So yeah, while this proves that he definitely had a foundation, grinding early doesn't mean that you can't be accelerated by the industry. You can't be planted by the industry. Where he fails to meet the independent artist definition, to me, is over his distribution. He had a massive distribution deal, and it's that very same distribution deal, in my opinion, that enabled him to become the star that he is today. The influence of the powerful label that owns the distribution company that he's tied to is incredible. That influence can propel you to superstardom, and that's exactly what I feel that distribution deal, plus the marketing strategies in general with his team, did for Central C.
We're not against it though. Like, we probably might sign. I'm due to drop another tape, so we dropped the tape in March. We done that independently. We did it with ADA, so it's with distribution, obviously.
Right.
We're gonna do that again. I'm about to drop another tape, and then I'll probably sit down and sign maybe.
As you can see there from the very same interview with Adam 22, Central C doesn't actually deny his affiliation with his distribution company. So let's take a bit of a deeper look into ADA and what ADA actually does. So according to ADA's official website, ADA is the independent distribution and label services arm of Warner Music Group, breaking brand new artists and supporting industry legends. Immediately, instantly, we can already see he's tied to the industry. Forget Drake, forget J. Cole, forget Kendrick, they ain't the big three. The big three are the top 3 record labels. Warner, I repeat, Warner owned ADA. It's a subsidiary of Warner, one of the biggest record labels in history. Now, what I rate about Central C is he doesn't deny this. He doesn't deny his affiliation with ADA. He thanks them. He admits he's worked with them. It's not a secret. Look at your screen right now. When Central C and YB's actually signed their deal with Columbia in 2023, which we'll get to, YB's even thanks Warner. So I'll give them credit. They're not denying this. They're not hiding this. But I think the same independent artist marketing they push, it's not aligning with my definition of an independent artist. They're kind of doing the modern kind of marketing version of what an independent artist is. Because how can you truly be independent if a lot of your music and your marketing and your distribution very, very, very early in your career was supported by Warner? So yeah, he may have only signed his Columbia deal in 2023, but he was working with Warner from as early as 2020, I believe. And this is why it's a grey area, because according to the NPR definition of an independent artist is someone who is not signed to one of the 3 major labels, Sony, Warner, or Universal. However, some say that an artist can still be independent if they are signed to a label that is not one of the majors. For me, that's bollocks. That completely defeats the purpose of an independent artist, because you're not really independent if you're still signed to a subsidiary of a major. Imagine I'm signed to Interscope Records. Does that make me independent? Of course not. Interscope is owned by UMG, Universal Music Group. For me, having any involvement from a major record label, I don't care if it's a subsidiary of them or not, having any involvement contradicts what an independent artist is. And you can clearly see that as soon as there was industry support behind Central C, that's exactly when he blew. All those years of grinding, nothing. But as soon as the industry got with him, he blew up the same time.
So Central C is actually signed to ADA, right? Now, their whole conversation again went to know, well, people kind of say he's independent, but he's signed to something. Well, he's not signed to Warner or any major directly. ADA is a distributor up under Warner though. Yeah. Right. And to me, this actually just speaks to the reality of music today. All right. Because the reality of music today is, the distributors are record labels, but they're better positioned record labels, right? They're better positioned because of the branding you can put on it. Oh, artist, you get a better deal than you normally would. But it's also better positioned because I can invite you in without having to take the same level of risk. And then I could just cherry pick the people, you know what I mean, that look like they're going to be a little bit more successful and then build a relationship with them, right? Now, him being signed to a distributor, of course, he does still control more things, but I think that's just the nature of the game today, and independent almost should be washed away. Or we should clearly define independent, because to me, it's so much marketing language versus the reality of what this is. I don't think independent means today what people originally meant when they said independent.
Now, I completely agree with that YouTuber's assessment of what is going on here. I think it's all flowery marketing. I think it's all flowery words. As I said at the start of this video, there's people in the UK music scene that I thought was independent. But when you dig deeper, they're not. They've had distribution deals, they've had this, they've had that, they've had industry support. So I think it's all just flowery marketing words. And I think we need to clearly define what an independent artist is. As I said, it's subjective. Like if my YouTube was suddenly being backed and supported by, I don't know, Channel 4 and all these next things, like, and I suddenly blow to 1 million subscribers after grinding for years and only having 50,000, bro, that's industry support, you get me? That doesn't necessarily mean I'm a plant, but it's industry support, you feel me? It's a spectrum. The reality is, I fully am independent, really, truly independent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an independent news source and everything is me. Now let's have a look at what an industry plant is and the definition of an industry plant. As I said earlier in the video, an industry plant is subjective also, like what an independent artist is. Overall, an industry plant is an artist discovered by a label before they have anything going for them. The artist might not have much of an image or a buzz, but they're talented and they're connected to the industry somehow, potentially through a manager, producer, friend, etc. After signing the artist, most likely secretly, the company will take time molding them before they introduce them properly to the world. If we take a look at this article here, this is quotes from the Warner Music UK CEO, Tony Harlow. At Warner Music UK, we are proud to be strategic partners with our artists and to help them realize their creative vision, he said. In an increasingly complex environment, labels like ours have the scale and reach to break through the noise and build long-term careers. We invest significant time and resources in a wide portfolio of artists, sometimes working with them for years before their careers blossom. Record labels are the primary investors in new artists, and we bear the risk associated with that investment. Now, does that prove that Central C was working with Warner years prior? No, it doesn't, but it suggests it does. What did I tell you a minute ago? Record labels often work with artists years before they blossom, so they can shape their sound, they can shape their look, and then they can reintroduce them to the world properly with the industry behind them. This also proves that record labels groom their next stars. They can sort out their image, hire big time producers, get them radio play, get them on Spotify playlists, all that stuff. That's the influence of what record labels can do, whether it's an ADA or whether it's a Sony. Doesn't matter whether it's a major or a subsidiary, that's the power and pull record labels have. It's all by design. They start pumping money into getting them into playlists and things like that. And once the artist gets popular enough, they'll then sign them publicly. Now there's two main reasons why record labels do this. The first main reason is to limit the possibility of signing an unprofitable artist, because they've been shaped, they've been molded, they've been guided, they've been groomed to be successful. Obviously, this is a music company. This is a business. They're in this business to make money. And the second reason is to trap artists in terrible deals. Now, this is where Central C is very different. And we'll talk about this when we get to the Colombia part of his life. But one thing I can say, hand on my heart, is Central C is not dumb. Him and his manager are not stupid. They didn't lock themselves into shit deals.
To make it make sense, it's not really about the advance for me. It's not about the millions or anything like that. It's just about the actual infrastructure, the deal, being able to do what we want to do, and the way it's all broken down. It's not really about what I get up front. I don't care. That's
something that they are good at, is understanding their worth, understanding what they can bring, their value, and getting a deal based on that. So that's one thing that they didn't do, fall into the trap of signing their life away. Looking at examples of clear-cut industry plants, we've got CJ. Who remembers CJ? Whoop there, whoop there, blue cheers. He is universally accepted and widely known as an industry plant. He had about 1 or 2 songs on SoundCloud, a couple songs, but his first ever recorded song, Whoopty, Blue, went absolutely viral. And the reason we know he's an industry plant is because he literally has a famous uncle who is a music executive.
According to CJ's bio, he was, quote, raised on the sidelines of the music business, referring to his uncle and also manager, James Cruz, who just happens to be a very established executive with connections all over the industry.
I'm gonna help the kid. I'm gonna help him. He deserves his family. It was like his pops called me and I gave his pops a promise and I spoke to his moms and I said, I got this. I'm getting a record deal. I'm getting a record deal. I'm getting a record deal.
As you saw there, that was CJ's uncle, extremely powerful and extremely influential in the music industry. He basically said, fam, I promised my brother that, listen, I'd get him a record deal. Simple as that. Simple as that. So he got a record deal and he blew off the back of that. He is an industry plant and luckily he failed. He flopped. He failed to capitalize on the hype. People realize he's a fraud, he's a fake, and he flopped. Ice Spice is another industry plant, fully fledged, certified industry plant. She barely rapped before 2022 and she didn't even take rap seriously until the year that she left college, the very same year that she blew. If you didn't know, she actually started rapping due to the producer Riot USA because they actually attended the same school as each other. He worked with her and helped her on the song Bully Freestyle. He helped that Bully Freestyle go viral on Twitter. If you didn't know, Riot USA was connected to the industry from birth. He's the son of legendary radio DJ Enough. DJ Enough has worked on Hot 97 since the 90s and he is also Hot 97's mix show coordinator. So he decides what gets played on the radio. Do you understand what I'm telling you here? Ice Spice was connected to DJ Enough's son, Riot USA, who was connected to the music industry from birth. So instantly, she already had a leg into the industry. He decides what gets played on put on playlists. I don't think it's a coincidence that Central C and Ice Spice have been seen together recently and they've got this new song out. I believe their come up is very, very similar, to be honest. They've both got a radar freestyle, but not only that, as you can see here, this is a screenshot from YB's, Central C's manager. As you can see, he basically reached out to Ice Spice and the caption is, I know a star when I see one. I reached out to her before Munch. Ice Spice has no talent, I'm sorry, she's talentless. All the only talent she's got is she can shake her batty, that's it. For me, I don't think you spotted a star. I think YB's is industry connected. What do we really know about YB's? I don't really know much about him, but I believe when Central C met YB's, they came up with whatever their marketing strategy. He was somewhat connected to people in Warner or ADA or whatever. And I think his industry connections are the reason why he knew of Ice Spice beforehand.
And like, prior to that, I've met quite a few people in the industry already. Even though like I hadn't made too much noise, I had met a lot of people like in the period of me trying to blow all that time, like maybe, what was it, 16 to 20, I'm 23 now, I just turned 23, so 16 to like whatever age I was, 22, I had met a lot of people in the industry and I didn't like how they move and like it was, I could tell, like, I can tell people's energy like right away, so when I met my man, I could tell he was genuine, like almost straight away.
He had got on Munch originally. Oh, wow. I asked him to get on it, right? Isn't that crazy? And he sent his verse back right away. It was fire too. I still think it's fire, you know, people should hear it, but we're working on a new record right now.
Are we ever gonna be able to hear that Munch remix?
I'll probably leak it.
Yeah. I'll leak it for you.
As you saw in that clip there, Ice Spice even says that Central C was meant to be on Munch before it came out. Munch was the song that blew her up. That was the song that went viral. So how were they connected before Munch blew up? How were they in cahoots before her biggest song blew up? Is it because YBs can spot a star early and wanted to get on the track? I don't think so. I think it's because they're connected somehow. Somehow they've got industry connections through a producer, through an A&R, whoever it is. They must have. They've got mutual friends, shall we say? That's the only reason I can think of that they would be connected before Munch even blew up. Like Ice Spice, it's Central C's affiliation and collaboration with ADA that helped get him the radio play. It helped get him the exposure. Take a look at this March 2020 interview with Spotify's head of music for UK and Ireland, Selena Ong. She discusses Spotify's plans to boost new artists, and this is in 2020, the exact same year that Central C blew up. As you can see, it says Ong has opened up about the launch of Spotify's new worldwide Radar project, which went live in 50 markets yesterday, March the 9th. Radar is designed to elevate emerging talent representing every Spotify region, and Ong confirmed that in the UK, between 4 and 6 acts per year will be selected. The scheme will offer marketing, editorial, fan events, and planning support. And this, coincidentally, is the exact same time that Central C blew up. Have a look at your screen right now. In this 2021 article from ADA's Howard Corner and Brooke Salisbury, where they talk about Central C, I quote, "Centch is a star, a true talent who we've been looking to work with for a while," said ADA UK Managing Director Howard. "At ADA, we have a very particular and proven approach to artist campaigns, dynamic, engaged, passionate, and creative. So when you combine those elements into one very connected and focused partnership, you're able to achieve amazing things." And at the bottom here it says Central C has 4.7 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which supported the UK rapper with its Radar program. Now, I know this article was in 2021, but don't be fooled. Don't think that ADA just picked up Central C in 2021 after his first few songs started to hit. No way. Guys, let's be real here. ADA is a subsidiary of Warner. The CEO of Warner has already admitted to grooming stars early. You meet them early, you have meetings with them early, and you come up with business proposals and marketing plans.
Telling me that I was going to these meetings and shit. I'm always talking about meetings like I'm signing or anything, but we're really not. But we do go to a lot of meetings though. That's the thing with us. We're not against these labels. We liaise with all of these people and have conversations with them all the time.
We know ADA and Warner has connections to Spotify. It even says in that article that Spotify's Radar program is the reason, not the sole reason, but has supported Central C's growth. The reason why he has 4.7 monthly listeners at that current time was because of the industry support. Radar, ADA. It wasn't because his songs just blew up on YouTube and all of a sudden they're getting airtime and things like that. That's not what happened. He was clearly having meetings with these people early. You can even see ADA Music post Central C in January 2021. If they're posting Central C in January 2021, they definitely were working together in 2020. For me, it's obvious. It's clear that Central C has had support from the industry. While he may not be an industry plant at this point, we're yet to confirm that, it's clear that he's had industry support. The reason he's appeared in playlists such as Spotify's New Music Friday and random smart shuffles and things like that is due to his connection with ADA. I remind you, ADA is a subsidiary of Warner. They help distribute artists. It's not like you going and distributing your own music out the back of a boot or doing it your own way. What distribution is the power to get your music played. So that is arguably the biggest part of what makes an artist an artist, is can you get your music heard? Someone who's got support by the industry can get their music heard. In the same May the 6th article, it literally says, the self-releasing artist secured the second biggest breakthrough for a UK debut album in Q1. The mixtape has gone on to sell 41.5 thousand copies, according to the official charts company. But this is the key bit that I want you to focus on. With strong support from streaming platforms, e.g. Spotify, Apple Music, etc., Wild West debuted at number 2 in March with first week sales of 15.1 thousand. The campaign was run in partnership with Warner Music's independent artist and label services division, ADA. Now I find it so ironic when it says self-releasing and independent, all this stuff. It's all flowery words. It literally says in black and white, with strong support from streaming platforms. Do you think an independent artist, someone who's pushing music purely independently, has strong support from playlists and Spotify and Apple Music and all these next ones? Of course not. There's no way I can believe that Central C just released his first 3 songs in 2020, like Day in the Life and Loading and things like that, randomly, changing his sound, changing his look, changing the content of the music basically, and that was just random and spontaneous, and it was that change that blew. For me, it was a perfect storm. It was the change in music, it was the change in look, but it was also the marketing strategies from him and Bello, but also, this can't be understated, the massive support from Warner and the industry that pushed him. Can you truly be an independent artist if you've got Warner ensuring that your music gets played on Spotify's playlist and Radar's this, and you know what I'm saying? As you can see on your screen right now, we can even see on Warner Chappell UK's official Instagram, they actually posted Central C's Wild West in April 2021. Now I need to reiterate, it always comes down to what your definition of an independent artist is, or your definition of an industry plant. For me, my eyes have been open doing research for this video because I've realised that a lot of the artists that I thought were independent, most people in the UK have had some support from either Warner, Chappell or ADA or something like that. They've had some sort of support. So I'm not even saying that he's the only one. And this is why the title is Central C, the UK's most successful industry plant. I'm not even saying that he is an industry plant, but of all the industry supported artists in the UK, he's definitely the most successful. And that is a testament to, one, his talent, but two, his marketing. It was a perfect storm for him to succeed. And I'm not taking anything away from the vision that him and YBs have had, you feel me? Because as I said, anyone could have blown. But I do find it interesting that I don't think he's the most talented. I don't think he's got the most authentic story. So why is it that Central C, out of all these rappers who have come before him, did he blow before everyone else differently? Being seen with Baby, making songs with Baby, Durkio, but before that being seen with Drake very early, being seen with Ice Spice, being seen with French Montana, being seen with Diddy. These are people that are very, very industry, bro. Like very industry. I'm talking like Masonic industry. Let me not even go down the rabbit hole in this video, but it's like, you feel me? We can even see in this January 20th, 2022 article, again, a year before he's meant to be officially signed to a record label, we can see the influence that ADA has had on his growth. Speaking in the latest issue of Music Week, executives from ADA, Central C's label services partner, have discussed his streaming impact. The campaign was masterminded in partnership with the rapper's manager, Bello. Central C signed last year with Warner Chappell as his publisher. Before I even continue, again, I sound like a broken record here, but how can you truly be independent if you've signed something? You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, clearly I don't know the music industry. Clearly I don't know. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I don't know the ins and outs and the intricacies of the music label. Apparently you can just be independent by not signing to a major. For me, it just doesn't make any sense, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe I'm naive. I'm so independent, I don't actually know how this shit works, you feel me? So I'm just giving you my opinion, but for me, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the UK sales result for Wild West is a real achievement, but last year was all about the global build for Sench, said ADA UK General Manager Brooke Salisbury. Sench and Bello are two of the hardest working entrepreneurs you could find, and the music is quality over quantity. So it's less that the music releases this year were prolific and more that the work rate was prolific. ADA UK Managing Director Howard told Music Week that the Warner Music Services division has helped UK rap stars achieve their commercial potential. ADA has previously worked with Stormzy as well as Bugsy Malone and the rap supergroup featuring Chip, Skepta and Young Ads from D-Block Europe. We have a deep understanding and a particular way of working with independent artists, either as direct signings or in conjunction with our distributed label partners. It's very lean in and dynamic. Alongside that, you've had the maturation of streaming services, social marketing, and the growth of rap as a cultural force that enabled rap and distribution to become a potent match. So by carefully picking partners who are a great fit for the way we work, we've been fortunate to have many successes over the last few years. ADA is now hard at work setting up the next mixtape from Central C, which could surpass the #2 peak of his debut. We're already rolling with the 2022 plan. Sench's next mixtape, 23, will be released February 25th. Look at the language there. We carefully select our partners who are a great fit with us. Even that verbiage, carefully selecting. They don't select anyone. They don't select everyone. They select people who they believe they can amplify their voice and who can make them money at the end of the day. What is it about Central C that they believe can make them millions? It's not like Dig That didn't go #1. Didn't Dig That Air Force featuring Krypton Conan go #1? Or hit, no, maybe not #1, top 10, or maybe top 20. Either way, it got a top 10, top 20, the first time a drill song had ever done that. Lowski's gone viral before. Digga D's been viral before. You know what I'm saying? All these viral kind of artists, but it's Central C the one that blew. So let's have a brief look at what Warner Chappell Music actually does. As you can see on the screen right now on their official website, it says, "We are Warner Chappell Music, the global music publishing arm of Warner Music Group. We have offices in more than 20 countries and are the home of a wide array of songwriters spanning all genres. We provide deep expertise across a myriad of creative services and offer the most innovative opportunities for songwriters and copyright holders. We put our songwriters and producers at the heart of everything we do. With offices around the world, we're a close, nimble A&R team with local expertise and global coordination across both emerging and established markets and territories. This uniquely positions us to meet the needs of music creators at all stages of their careers." Now, before we continue, is it a coincidence that Central C was getting features from international artists so quickly? It's not. It's a combination of the marketing strategy, probably Central C sitting down with Bello thinking, how can we go global? How can we do this? How can we do that? Oh, I think we need to go international. But it's also the support of Warner, of ADA, putting these things together, definitely. We're on top of every opportunity to amplify songwriters' brands from film, TV, advertising, and games to emerging media platforms. Our award-winning sync team is always searching for new and creative ways to get our writers heard. They're in constant contact with the best global and boutique ad agencies, music supervisors, film studios, game makers, theatre production companies, and other major content producers with a proven track record of placing our songwriters' music in high visibility media. We have close relationships with every digital service provider and many entrepreneurial companies at the forefront of innovation, all with the goal of adopting leading edge tech like our royalties app in service of the songs and their creators. Our digital team negotiates the best deals possible with new and established digital services. We are focused on amplifying our songwriters and catalogs across all media platforms, including digital, film, TV, theatrical, immersive, and more. Whether it's securing playlisting and features across the digital platforms, creating campaigns and activations around catalog milestones and anniversaries, or finding new ways for fans to engage with songs, we work to find new opportunities to connect music stories with cultural moments. Now guys, that is a key one, because what people don't realize about the music industry and record labels is they have so much power and pull to get you heard. Record labels can call up DJs, radio stations very easily. Record labels can call up Adam 22, for example. They call up Adam 22 and say, we've got an emerging star here, we want you to interview him. That's exactly what happens. Adam 22 has confirmed this.
You've definitely like earned the position of like being worth interviewing, but that's basically like what I want to communicate to people sometimes when I have labels like hit me and just trying to get me to interview some guy that they signed 2 weeks ago who's got like 100,000 views on one song, and it's like, for me, I'm like, you don't want this dude doing an interview right now. He hasn't done enough to like warrant an interview. The people are gonna be bored by it. It's just not gonna like really do much for him. So I just thought that was really interesting that you seem to like understand that dynamic in a way that a lot of these fucking labels and shit just don't really get.
DJ Academics has confirmed this. Record labels literally have called up DJ Academics before and said, can you promote Sexy Red? Can you work with 6ix9ine? Like, this is literally what happens. The same way record labels can shout Drake, UMG can shout Drake and say, yo, Drake, can you co-sign Sexy Red? Not to mention another thing that record labels can do. They have a relationship with social media. Record labels literally have the power to get your song played on TikTok, like constantly on TikTok, things like that, use the sounds and it goes viral. Like, your song can literally go viral on TikTok based off the record label support that you've got. But for me, it's not a coincidence that he got the co-sign from Drake very early. It's not a coincidence that in 2021, he got the Adam 22 call up. And it's not by chance that he also got Doja Cat to be on Lyrical Lemonade. What UK artist do you know got a Lyrical Lemonade video? Doja Cat, absolutely viral. Lyrical Lemonade is owned by Def Jam. Def Jam is owned by UMG, which is owned by Lucian Grange, one of the most powerful people in the world, especially in the music industry. Drake is signed to UMG. You'll find links everywhere. Ice Spice is signed to 10K Projects, which is owned by Lucian Grange's son. So 10K Projects is owned by UMG as well. For me, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that these industry people are connecting with Central C very early. It's obvious that the industry has a plan to use Central C and amplify his voice for a reason. Yeah, as I said, if he starts wearing skirts, thongs, pink nails, all that business, you get me, then we'll know he's been fully compromised and he's 100% like a Masonic puppet. You know what I'm saying? But until we know what kind of like the industry has in store for Central C, we'll see. Now, I don't want to undermine his achievements because he has done a lot. He's done a lot for himself, he's done a lot for his team, he's done a lot for the UK, to be honest. But more evidence that the industry is behind him and supporting him is his awards. He was winning awards since 2021. He won MOBO's the best breakthrough artist, all that stuff. He won a MOBO again in 2022 and he won a MOBO again in 2023. He won Brit Awards, he's won BETs. Now, obviously, this is a bit later, but early in his career, he was winning MOBO Awards and Brit Awards in 2022. When you win awards, that does support and strengthen the fact that you've got industry support. Doesn't mean you're a plant, but it definitely means if you're not supported by the industry, if they don't like you for whatever reason, you're not winning those awards, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're not winning a MOBO, a Brit, and things like that. So I know I've already mentioned Doja Cat and the impact it had, but let's actually talk about 2022 as a year. This is the year that it really started to properly take off for Central C, like differently. He's going more global. You can see that he's got a lot more industry opportunities. This was the year that he's seen hanging out with Diddy and Drake. This is the same year that he had his LA Leakers freestyle, which again propelled him to a wider US audience. He would never have got that LA Leakers freestyle without the industry support. But one thing I have to give him credit for, again, the content of the freestyle that he decided to do. They could have rapped about anything. They could have rapped about English streets or America. They could have just been begging America, but they didn't. They decided to be tactical and basically compare slang. You say this, we say that. You say machine, we say mash. You know what I'm saying? In the strip club, they're shaking ass. They're shaking nyash. Everyone's there. See, that was clever. So that's why I give them credit. In Central C's Adam 22 video, he claims that after he wrote Day in the Life and he didn't really have a follow-up song, like, to mind. He was winging it, essentially. Now, I don't know how much I believe that. I truly believe that once he met YB's, the year before he blew, he met him in 2019. Only 1 year after meeting each other, did his sound change and things like that. I believe that the connections that YB's had and some of the industry connections that Central may have had from his early come up, I truly believe that they planned this. I truly believe that this was marketed. I truly believe that they knew the sound they were going to go. They were going to adopt the drill wave, the drill beat, but kind of make it a bit melodic. And that was the avenue they were going to go down. I believe early in 2020, they were picked up by ADA. I don't believe ADA only picked them up at the end of 2020, 2021. I believe this was a marketing strategy, essentially. Now, it worked flawlessly. I'm not undermining how good they've done. They've done amazing. They've done fantastically. But that's what it is. It's a marketing strategy. For me, if you're not distributing your own music and all this, you can't be independent. That's just my opinion on it. So last year, 2023, Central C at this point has gone absolutely clear. He's gone nuclear. This is the year where he fully becomes industry. Now, I'm not talking he fully becomes an industry plant, but I'm talking about he's fully accepted into the industry. He's signed to the industry. It's the year that he signed with Columbia Records. And this is where he starts mingling with the real upper echelons of society. He's seen with French Montana earlier in the year.
Got my bro C for the private screening. Got the fan.
He's seen chilling with Drake early in the year. He signs to Columbia Records in June, and only in July, a month later, does he get the Drake collaboration. Now, I don't know if that was pushed by the industry. I don't actually know. I mean, most likely it was because of Drake, but clearly he did have a relationship with Drake before the song. They had been seen together multiple times, like before that freestyle had dropped. I believe that feature, that collaboration was probably inevitable anyway, but it is quite funny that only a month after he signs to Columbia does he get the Drake feature. Now, Columbia is owned by Sony. Drake is owned by UMG. So they're different record labels, so maybe this was just organic. But in 2023, he wins further awards. He's winning more MOBO awards. He won another Brit Award. He won a BET Award. He won an MTV Europe Music Award. He won an Ivor Novello Award. So yeah, he's winning a lot of awards this year. He's really been accepted by the industry and pushed by the industry. Now, if we look at the details of his deal with Columbia, this is where we see the smarts and the intelligence of his team, because apparently he retains the ownership of all of his already released music, and he's only signed to Columbia for 2 projects. Now, as far as I'm aware, the splits are 50-50 in the UK and 80-20 in Columbia's favor in the US. Now, that might look nuts, but it shows their ambition. It shows that they're really, really, really gonna push Central C in America, because it's in Columbia's interest to push Central C in America. That's why you see him at these games. That's why you see him with this celebrity and that celebrity. That's why he's got the Dirkio feature. Dirk and all the labels Dirk signed to is ultimately signed to Sony. You know what I'm saying? So that's where all these links came from. But the 80-20 makes sense in America because that's the market that he needs to break into that. So once he breaks into America, Columbia will get 80-20 of all the singles, of all the albums, whatever, of all the everything as at Central C. And in the UK, it'll be 50-50 because he's already got a huge fan base in the UK and he's already doing well in the UK. Not to mention, he owns the rights to all his music already. Plus, it's only 2 albums, 2 records, 2 projects. That's great. And apparently he got $25 million for this. You know what I'm saying? $20 million for this. 2 projects only. He could drop 2 projects in a year, 2 projects in 2 years, and be free of his contract and go back to independent. You know what I'm saying? So I think the record deal was fantastic. I think they've done a great deal. I think they did a great bit of business there. And it's a joint venture, which means they're partners ultimately. So only a month later, after he signs to Columbia, does he then get featured in the XXL freshman class of 2023. Now guys, this isn't rocket science. That's obvious that was pushed by Columbia. You don't get entered into these magazines, these features, these articles, these Vogues and all this stuff without being industry. I've glossed over a lot of his career because the whole point of this video wasn't to go through all his timeline and look at all the songs he's dropped and things like that. It was just to look at the support from the industry that he's had ultimately before he got signed. But once he got signed, some interesting things started to happen. So let's actually fast forward to this year, where he's now making songs with people who are fully in the industry, such as Dirk, Lil Baby, etc. But more specifically, let's actually look at his love life. Now, I don't really give a shit about who Central C dates and whatnot. Central C was dating this girl, I can't remember what her name was. Basically, what happened was, in fact, let me just play the clip.
Poetry. And then he plays me his verse. I'm like, what the f? Not only did you just snitch on yourself that you're cheating, but you just told me exactly how. Give me your phone. You telling me ZK Trappy69 with the wet emoji is not your childhood friend? He tells me it's just marketing and I know how the internet works, so I just forget about it. A while later, he tells me that he wants to hire an influencer to do like a lip syncing video to one of his older songs, and I'm like, okay, makes sense. Then he's like, I'm gonna send her a car because she asked for one. I was like, okay, makes sense. He didn't tell me he was sending her his personal car to start a dating rumor with her. I was with you guys, knees deep in that comment section, asking if we were still together. I tried to have a conversation with him about it, and all he kept saying was, all right. No, I'm kidding, but seriously, I actually tried to understand what was going on, and nothing. At this point, I'm starting to realize, oh, this is why girls don't date rappers. So I call my team and they're like, Madeline, he just started a dating rumor with another girl. Aren't you supposed to be going to Nigeria with him in 2 days? This is gonna be multiple parts, sorry. I'm this close to calling the police because that is a threat. He has had no direct access to me ever since that phone call. I'm thinking that this conversation is gonna be our love, our relationship, so tell me why 10 hours later he's posted up with Guys, imagine you break up with your boyfriend one night and the next day he is posted up with Ice Spice and Chrome Hearts. I didn't even actually get to break up with him and he's already with the next girl. He gave me not even like 12 hours notice before he was being filmed in Chrome Hearts with her. The flight from America is 12 hours. She was already on the plane. Hey, woman to woman, what did he get you from Chrome Hearts? Because all I ever got was a tank top. So yet again, I am in the comment section with you guys. Such a bop. This is 4 days until my birthday. When I saw him in her comment section like that, I tweet so that I was gonna put this screenshot on my story. I thought rapper boyfriend was at least considerate enough to let me have my birthday week, and then I see them at the club on the 6th of July. My birthday's on the 7th. You guys remember when he made me pay for my own birthday ticket into the zoo? At least I remember this year. That is why my friends had to turn up to my house in gorilla suits the day of my birthday, because I had just woken up to a video of him with a big booty baddie in the club. They literally had to drag me out of house. This man has since emailed me, called my mum, tried to follow my friends on Instagram. You get the gist. So it wasn't that much of a surprise when I get a call from his team and it's a girl on the end of the phone saying, first and foremost, I'm a girl's girl. Cough twice if he is holding you hostage, otherwise I need you to put down the phone. So his team is calling me, trying to convince me to have a conversation with him, and they're trying to tell me like he had no control over this, and I'm trying to get the point across. It doesn't matter if he had control or not. Why the f was I told 12 hours before it happened? I'm going insane because all I'm seeing is comments being like, how could she condone this? This is so embarrassing for her. Like, why would she let her man act like this? Guys, I wasn't.
So as you saw from that was Central C's ex-girlfriend basically explaining the situation. If you didn't know, he was meant to be with this girl, but he started being seen with Ice Spice. He started to be seen publicly in the car with Ice Spice, coming out of Selfridges with Ice Spice. And I was thinking, this is a bit random. It's not the first time they've met. I've seen them in the studio before. I'd seen Ice Spice in the studio with Central C like a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I can't remember. So I know, fam, we know they've been connected because he was allegedly going to be on the Munch verse. So anyway, we know they're connected, but when I started to see them together, I thought, this is a bit random. This looks too manufactured for me. This looks too fake. It looks too industry. We all know the industry likes manufacturing relationships to help market themselves, market the artists and market the songs. But this is the bit that I want you to hold on to. When she explains that the team was on the phone to her and the girl's girl called her, his team said he had no control over this.
So his team is calling me, trying to convince me to have a conversation with him. And they're trying to tell me like he had no control over this.
Now for me, that is telling. What more do you need to hear to know that he is losing control over his business decisions, his career? What makes an independent artist an artist? Creative control, control over the vision, control over your marketing. If as soon as you start relinquishing control over your career in any way, shape or form, whether that's distribution, whether that's marketing, whether that's this, that and the other, you can't be independent, bro. You can't. And for me, if you're engaging in fake relationships to boost sales, that is industry plant behavior. I'm sorry, it is. It's planted behavior, especially with Ice Spice, who is a certified, fully fledged industry plant. That woman is fully indoctrinated, doing up demonic hand symbols and all sorts next to Taylor Swift, who's also a Masonic puppet. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, you not having control over your dating life and the marketing around that for me, that's plant business. You know what I'm saying? That's plant behavior. That's not no independent artist behavior. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have creative control over his music. That's not what I'm saying. But for you to relinquish your marketing independence and you don't have control and you can't decide who you're seen in public with and the reality is he's a guy at the end of the day. Ice Spice, she's a baddie, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't even think she's that leng facially. Obviously, she's got a big back. I would just keep her face south and her arse north, you know, the ones there. But
so you want me to sleep with your artist, but you don't want to pay me for any of the videos I've done. You want to use me and suck me dry, and you want to embarrass me online for your marketing. Huh? From that day, I knew he was getting no tuntun. Because are you actually done?
I don't actually know who this woman is. I've forgotten her name. Is it like Kenza or something like that? But this was a clip from another woman who basically claims that Central C uses women for marketing. Now, I don't really know much about that, but again, it just sounds a bit false, doesn't it? It sounds a bit fake. It doesn't seem legit. It doesn't seem kind of authentic. Apparently, someone asked her to sleep with the artist and then kind of get used and abused for marketing. Now, I don't really know the validity of her claims, but she's not the only woman now to suggest that Central C often uses women for marketing and things like that. I don't know if that's his idea, the idea of his team, or the idea of these record labels, who knows? But even just the way she said it, where you want me to sleep with your artist, that just sounds weird, doesn't it? That sounds like some Diddy thing. That sounds like some industry thing, some Weinstein thing. You know, them ones there where you're, oh yeah, I'll get you this job and I'll get you this role if you suck off the director. Just sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But either way, I don't really know the validity of her claims, but it just paints an interesting image of kind of like Central C, doesn't it? As I said, 2024 is the year where Central C has fully been indoctrinated into the industry. He had a massive hit song with Lil Baby that was pushed by Columbia, Band for Band. And obviously he's got a song with Dirk coming out now where he's rocking the Bantu hairstyle. I mean, brother, this guy, it's funny because this guy is literally he's half Chinese basically. He's like white and Chinese. But for the longest, people really thought that this guy had black in him. You know what I'm saying? His dad's Chinese, just in Guyana. My man's rocking Bantu knots, bro, crazy. But express yourself, young buck, man. You do your thing. But anyway, in conclusion, there is no doubt that Central C is talented. There is no doubt that he separated himself and gone clear compared to the rest of the UK. The reality is, a lot of these independent artists and a lot of these UK artists have had support from the industry and none of them have blossomed the way Central C has. He has been immensely successful and he has made millions. He's got generational wealth. Even though he said in that video that he hasn't got generational wealth yet, or he's only had millions for a year or whatever, he has got generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? He has changed the lives of his friends, his family, and I respect that. He carved the lane and he ran with it. But as far as this independent stuff goes, he is as independent as an army of ants, bro. That's all I'm saying. Now, do I think he's an industry plant? Remains to be seen. Yeah, industry plants usually push agendas. So we'll see. I mean, he's been seen in pink, a whole pink outfit. I like pink, so I didn't read into that too much. But as I said, if we start seeing him painting all his nails, wearing skirts, some other stuff, you'll see all white party, being seen with all these industry dons, P. Diddy, all that stuff. I mean, he's been seen with Diddy, he's been seen with French Montana, he's been seen with Drake. They're very industry, but the main message that I want to get through this video is not hate, but it's the fact that we need to ultimately revisit what an independent artist actually is. Because as I said, this guy is an independent as an army of ants, bro. There's nothing independent about him, fam. It's one of them ones. He had a great marketing strategy, he had a great marketing team, but that marketing team was largely Warner. Do you know what I'm saying? Warner, ADA, and of course he's got his manager YBs and I'm sure a few friends and whatever around him. But ultimately, ADA and Warner have been supporting his come up from the very beginning. I truly believe they had a conversation about the direction they wanted to go. And I truly believe that they kind of groomed him to be the next star. I do believe that. The reasons why remains to be seen. because while I think he's talented, I don't think he's the most talented to come out of the UK. I'm surprised he was the one to bridge the gap, but I'm happy someone did it. So yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. As I said, this is no hate. If Central C sees this video, his team sees this video and doesn't like what I gotta say, I don't give a fuck, to be honest. But respectfully, I'm not actually hating, I'm just giving my opinion. And I implore you to make your own opinion. Don't just think he's an industry plant because he blew up out of nowhere. Don't just think he's independent. Like, make up your own opinion. Do your own research and have a look. But guys, let me know your thoughts, man. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. If you like the video, please press that subscribe, comment your thoughts, stay safe, stay blessed, stay vigilant. What the hell do I know, man? I'm just a man in his 20s. Peace.